Should misgendering someone be a crime? The UK's Labour Party seems to think so. Under a Labour government, deliberately calling someone by the incorrect gender pronouns could become a hate crime, punishable by imprisonment, according to the Mail on Sunday. And with Labour streets ahead of the UK's embattled Tory government in the polls, this could soon come to fruition. Labour, the Mail on Sunday reports, wants to make hatred on the basis of, quote, gender identity, unquote, what's called an aggravated offence. This would bring transphobic abuse into line with assault and harassment motivated by hatred on the grounds of race or religion, which are punishable by up to 2 years in prison. Now, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who is in favour of hate who thinks we desperately need more of it, but there are still plenty of reasons why criminalising hate in this way is a terrible idea that is bound to have all kinds of dreadful consequences. Not least because what is often referred to as hate by our politicians these days is often nothing of the sort. There are concerns that under Labour's proposals, refusing to use the name and pronoun that a trans person has chosen for themselves could constitute harassment or other crimes. Such fears are well-founded. The UK's increasingly alarming experiment in woke state censorship has shown us that policing hate often just means policing thoughts and speech. Indeed, even under existing legislation, Brits have already been hauled through the courts for quote-unquote misgendering trans people, for referring to them using pronouns that match their sex rather than the gender they believe themselves to be. In 2020, Kate Scotto, a radical feminist, was convicted of causing annoyance, inconvenience or needless anxiety under the Communications Act after she referred to a male who identifies as female as he on social media. Scotto was arrested at her home, in front of her children, and claimed she was kept in a police cell for 7 hours. In 2022, a Christian preacher called David McConnell was found guilty of harassment after he referred to a trans person as a man and a gentleman on the streets of Leeds. In 2021, Marion Miller, a feminist campaigner, was dragged through the Scottish courts on trumped-up hate crime charges related to her gender-critical tweets. And that was all before Scotland's illiberal new hate crime bill came into effect. Both McConnell and Scotto eventually had their convictions overturned, and the case against Miller was thankfully eventually dropped. But I dare say they may well have fared differently under new and even more punishing hate crime legislation. Indeed, every new layer of legislation provides ever more possibilities for complaints, arrests, charges, prosecutions. Even when these do not result in firm convictions, the process is always the punishment. Every protracted, costly, emotionally draining legal battle punishes the accused and chills free speech to the bone, warning everyone else away from saying what they really think. The phrase Orwellian is a little overused these days, but there really is no other word for punishing people for supposedly incorrect pronoun use. For here's the thing, when someone refers to a male as he or him, they are telling the truth. They're expressing their personal position, yes, but also one that reflects reality. Biological sex is real. There are only two sexes, and our language flows from those simple, observable facts. Now, while many still believe it is courteous to refer to transgender people they know and interact with as the gender they, quote, identify with, this is just a courtesy, and it certainly shouldn't be enforced. Compelling people to use preferred pronouns is compelling them to lie, to say that 2 + 2 = 5, or else. The majority of Brits believe transgender people deserve all the dignity, respect and rights that are accorded to any other citizen, but that is not what is being demanded here. In a free society, you can believe and say whatever you like about yourself, about the world, about religion, but this is a two-way street. We tolerate those with faiths or views different to our own. We are not expected to believe in them ourselves. Extreme gender ideology, however, is a movement that demands not tolerance, but total capitulation. Fuck you! Fuck you! For the sake of free speech, reason and sanity, we really cannot give in to this. Insisting that people genuflect to the views or the self-image of others means taking us into new and very dangerous territory. We cannot allow the government to define what does and doesn't constitute hate, on this issue or any other issue. That way, tyranny lies. And we cannot allow the next Labour government, or any other government, to make liars out of us all.